We're here at the Bluffton Elementary School a day after the school board decided to implement a full-day kindergarten program for the 2011-2012 school year. School officials have said that the full-day kindergarten won't necessarily teach anything new that students will not learn in a half day, but instead will give students more time to better learn and deeper learn the subjects. And one of the ways they're doing that is by having more time for hands-on activity. And we have here with us Mrs. Lori Williamson. She is a full-day kindergarten teacher. Before last night's decision, she was one of only two. And she's just going to kind of give us a tour of her classroom and explain how full day allows for more in-depth learning and what kind of tools, for lack of a better word, she has in here to do that. So Mrs. Williamson, if you wouldn't mind, just kind of giving us a little tour.
Okay. Well, we'll start over here with our dramatic play area. We have...
I want to quickly interrupt you just so people know, right now, normally things are kind of cleaned up and tucked away for the summer. Normally more things would be out, correct? I mean, for the
Correct.
school year.
Yes,
so.
we are in the process of getting floors cleaned and things are put away.
Yeah.
So looks a little different than what it will in the
Right.
fall.
Okay.
We do have dramatic play area where they can pretend that they're working at a store or doing some kind of construction that uses vocabulary, sentence building skills, and also problem solving.
Okay.
So we also do have a sand table where the kids can measure, compare things to see which weighs more, which weighs less. For instance, how many half cup scoops would I need to fill up this bowl, things like that.
All right, so they can get hands-on math skill there.
Right.
Okay.
And then we also have lots of construction things. This is a train set that they can build a town, build bridges, roads, put up the road signs, things like that, and just, basically work together as a group using cooperative learning skills to build a town.
All right.
Over here, we use the easel a lot with the magnet letters, and we work a lot with phonemic awareness skills.
Now, phonemic, could you kind of help for some people who might not know what exactly that means?
Sure. What that is just manipulating the sounds that are in the word.
Okay.
So I might tell the kids, I'm going to look here and can you tell me what these letters are? This is the letter M, the letter A, and the letter T. And then we would blend those sounds together and say act, mat.
Okay.
And then sometimes I also use a Tucker signing where I will do a signing to help them know what the letter is.
Okay.
Like for instance, M is the letter A is so
Okay.
the kids are doing these signs with me, and then letter T is t. And then as we blend these together again, it would be act.
Okay.
And then I might take this letter off and say, okay, we know that this is the word family at. If I put a P here, what would the word change to now? And so we do a lot with that.
All right.
I might, start and say, okay, let's stretch out this word, at. If I take the B off, what's left? Just that at. So we're manipulating sounds and words.
All right. And in a half day, they might not have this much time to actually get this more hands-on type stuff. It's more
That's
large
right.
group, kind of a,
Right.
for lack of a better word, lecture format.
Right. And I can gather kids 4 or 5 at a time to sit on the floor to work with me, as opposed to having 20 kids sitting on the floor, so that they can manipulate these letters and show me that they understand these phonemic awareness skills.
All right. Excellent. And what else do you have in here?
This is our Handwriting Without Tears program.
All right.
And what the kids do is we talk about the letter B says buh, buh, buh. And what they do is they take these pieces out and they start at the happy face so that we know that's the top.
Okay.
And they build the letter.
Oh,
So
okay.
this is just like puzzle pieces, and they would put a big stick down,
All right.
and then they take the 2 little circles, or 2 little curves here, and build the letter B.
Okay.
And after they have this down, we practice that several times. And then I give them a blue mat that has really no direction. And we talk about what did we do first to make the letter B. Well, we took our big line and put it down from the happy face down. And then we took our first little curve and put it on. And then our next little curve, and what letter did we have? Well, that's the letter B, and then they would tell me that buh sound.
Okay.
And then after we work on that for a day, we have the little magnadoodles that we use.
Mm-hmm.
That looks the same again with the happy face so that we know where the top is.
All right.
And they use this pencil,
Mm-hmm.
and they start at the happy face and they bring their line down,
Mm-hmm.
and then they do a little curve and another little curve, and we practice.
All right. So this is long before the traditional line paper with
Right.
the solids and the dotted in
Right.
the middle and whatnot.
Right, so
Okay.
we do this practicing 3 to 4 days so that they have a good foundation for each letter
All right.
and know exactly what they're going to do with their pencil before we get out paper and pencil.
All right.
Okay, so that is the handwriting without tears.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of things that we do with math. We have lots of manipulatives with the Saxon math program.
Okay.
For instance, I might just give these kids all these buttons and say, how would you sort these buttons?
Mhm.
And then they would, start to sort them. Well, I might put all the circles together. And then I might put all of the squares together, and then all the rectangles together. And then basically I would ask them, how did you put these together?
Mhm.
And then I might say, okay, let's take all these circles. Could you sort them another way so that they are using different ways to tell me the different shapes? And then here's another manipulative when we've been working on numbers.
Okay.
And I might say, take your cubes and show me how many you would need to build the number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Then I might say, find the number 4 and put your finger on it, and they would find it. Now show me how many cubes you would use to make the number 4. And so we do a lot of practicing with our manipulatives, and then we would get out a worksheet, and maybe they would have to color in the squares on their worksheet for the day. But we always start first with a 10-minute manipulative lesson before we go to the written activity.
So all in all, it's an attempt to take the conceptual, whether it's adding or building a word or phonetics, and try and make it practical, applicable, and hands-on.
Right.
Mhm.
The main thing is hands-on, where the kids are showing us that they know the skills and using concrete things rather than abstract things, which would be, here's your paper,
Mhm.
and show me 1, show me 2, show me 3, and things like that.
Right. Okay. Anything else in here you'd like to show us?
Yes. These are our rest mats.
Mm-hmm.
In the afternoon after lunch, the kids come and get their rest mats, and they're marked with the child's name on.
Oh, okay.
And they get their mat, and we also have cubbies where they have pillow and blankets, and so they get their pillow and their blanket, and then they have a spot on the floor where they go and they rest.
Okay.
So those are our rest mats.
Mm-hmm.
We also have easels here. During the school year, I would have paint, markers, dot markers, lots of different art media
Right.
that they could pick from, that they could make pictures that maybe go along with the letter that we're talking about, or a picture about a season that we're talking about,
Right.
things like that.
Okay.
Okay, we also have time to come to the computer lab each day, and we usually spend about 25-30 minutes in the computer lab. And this is a Reading Eggs program that was purchased for the Title I kindergarten, and it's all individual instruction, but the child will log on, go to their lessons, because we see a lesson coming on, and they click on the stone, and it just takes them through a lesson where they have to find the letter and move it up and match it.
Okay, so in this game, for instance, balloons are floating by, and they got to put the balloon with the letter in the circle with the letter.
Correct.
Okay.
The upper and lower case letters. And as they play, they have to get a certain score.
Okay.
And if they get that score, then they work to the next level, which would be level 2, and another game will come up, and they go all the way through about 7 levels.
Okay.
And then they take an assessment, and if they've mastered all those skills, then they move on to the next stone on their map.
Okay.
They also have games that they can play as rewards for good scores on their quizzes. They also get to keep points that are golden eggs, where they can buy things and change their avatar,
Okay.
put different things on their avatar. So it's just a really fun activity for kids.
And you have access to all their scores and whatnot.
Right. I
Okay.
can go back and look at all their scores. If I feel like a child is not advancing, does not have the score that I would like for them to have, I can have them go back and do a lesson over again. There's also a placement test that you can take at the beginning to show the appropriate level where a child should be working and let them go from there.
All right.